Hi, welcome to the Light of Deception. Today we're going to be recapping everything that we've learned so far in the series of the isms related to deception. I'm going to go back to the very beginning briefly and just go through them very quickly so we can see where we are in the study. I started off with the social gospel and then social justice and social change agents leading to Christian socialism and put that all together. Also, I have covered what just the definition of socialism is, what the definition is of Marxism, and the definition of communism, and then talked about the Georgia Guidestones. Then jumped over to mysticism, starting with occultism, defining what an ism is, what mysticism is, what meditation is. Then got into talking about Buddhism and Hinduism, defining those terms as well. Then I went into Judaism, Kabbalah, the ancient mysticism and Kabbalah and Judaism. And then went into Catholicism, and then Mormonism and transhumanism. The Mormons are tied into transhumanism, not as a whole, but a lot of the Mormons are tied into transhumanism. Then we got into the study of ecumenism and then universalism. That one was a little longer. Most of them are 5 to 10 minutes. That one went about 14 minutes. There was a lot to say. And then right now we are going to be talking about Pantheonism and Panentheism. Tongue twisters, right? And talking about the difference between the two of those. So if you go into the Light of Deception website, it's going to show you that it's the definition of Pantheonism, the definition of Panentheism, and then the comparison of the two. It's kind of interesting to know that there's some similarities and some differences in what the breakdown is. So I'm going to be reading this to you today. So, number one, Pantheonism, a doctrine that equates God with the forces of law of the universe, the laws of the universe. Number two, the worship of all gods of different creeds, cults, and people indifferently. Also, toleration of worship of all gods, as at certain periods of the Roman Empire. I want to read a little bit more here so we can get a better grasp on what that is between the two. So I'm going to grab this, it just makes it easier. Okay, so pantheistic, pantheism, and here we go, in religion. And most importantly, the belief that God is equal to the universe, its physical matter, and the forces that govern it are found in the ancient book of in Hinduism. See how everything ties together. In the worship of many Greek philosophers, and in the works of many, not worship, in the works of many Greek philosophers, and in later works of the philosophers and religion over the centuries. Much modern New Age spirituality is pantheistic, but most Christian thinkers reject pantheism because it makes God too impersonal, doesn't allow for any differences between the creation and the creator, and doesn't seem to allow for humans to make meaningful moral choices. Okay, now we're going to go into Pantheism is a constructive world composing of the English equivalent of the Greek term pan, meaning all, en, meaning in, and theism, meaning God. Okay. Panentheism considers God and the world to be interrelated, with the world being in God and God being in the world. It offers an increasingly popular alternative to both traditional theism and pantheism. Panentheism seeks to avoid either isolating God from the world, as traditional theism often does, or identifying God with the world as pantheism does. Traditional theistic systems emphasize the difference between God and the world, while Pantheism stresses God's active presence in the world and the world influence upon God. Pantheism emphasizes God's presence in the world, but Pantheism maintains the identity and significance of the non-divine anticipation of pantheistic understanding of God have occurred in both philosophical and theological writings throughout history. However, a rich diversity of pantheistic understandings has developed in the past 2 centuries, primarily in Christian traditions responding to the scientific thought. While Pantheism generally emphasizes God's presence in the world without losing the distinct identity of either God or the world. Specific forms of Pantheism, drawing from different sources, explains the nature of the relationship of God to the world in a variety of ways, and comes to different conclusions about the nature of the significance of the world for the identity of God. There you go. So you can start seeing how all the isms under mysticism are coming together, how Christians are buying into all of this. Right, you can see it in the churches. The teachings are evident there. The East meets West. We're going to bring in some of the meditation practices from the East. We're going to go ahead and do yoga. We're going to go ahead and take the cold practices and bring them into the church. What would have been something they wouldn't have done before, or they went through times where they were part of, bringing in the traditions of the people, the surrounding countries, or the surrounding people that were in the area. They would bring it into the practices. So it goes back to Gnosticism, to the Desert Problem Fathers, and that ancient, or the knowledge that they were coming up with, this new knowledge, this new heightened of understanding, how you can tap into your inner child, your inner divinity, how everything's interconnected. Kind of end it the same way because it's the same thing. The thread's going through all the isms of the mysticisms, right? It's tying back into the social gospel, right? When you put something before the gospel, which you call it maybe the social gospel, social justice. Can you put social justice together? It's an oxymoron. Can you be a social change agent, right? So what are you really being? You're going to be a Christian socialist. See how it's all kind of tying together into socialism, into Marxism, into communism, how everything's coming together. Fascism is going to be coming. Totalitarianism will be part of it, right? So, and then it's really coming all together where the world religions will link hands under a common thread, some kind of world issue, but they will not stay like this because the religions demand dominion, some of them, right? So they will share it for a time. So their whole world agenda will come, this might be part of it. Hey, you got to join hands with all these other religions in order to usher in this new Antichrist kingdom, this new world order, and then, right, it's going to explode because they're not going to be, man is desperately wicked, their hearts are. How can they come together and have a global religion and one world economics and taking all the wealth and distributing it equally? Do they really think that the billionaires, and I'm not saying all billionaires have this global plan, but you really think they're going to give up their wealth? Are they going to take the wealth from the middle class and put everybody into this poverty condition where you're relying on the government for a certain amount of food, where they're taking maybe 85% of your income and leaving you with 15% to live off of? They're already taking about a third, right? So what are they going to take next? Are you going to be able to live on 15%? Is it, really signing up to something that happened in the Bible before, where they were bringing all their money together and they were going to give everybody this equal distribution of wealth? And what happened? Go back into the Bible. People were holding back things to themselves, right? Again and again, in a perfect world, would this work where everybody's on equal playing fields? If Jesus was reigning, if this was You know, he's already come back and he's going to set up his kingdom. But in this world, who's running this world? The false light of deception, right? That's kind of telling you with the website, why do I call it the light of deception? So how does Satan come? He comes as the deceiver, the false light of deception. So I pray all these isms and everything that we're going through in these series will help you stay out of the light of deception. Until next time, thank you.